Hi students, in last class we discussed that is kidney transplantation and other pathways of excretory organs. So very important. And name of the organisms and excretory systems. In today's class we are going to discuss excretion and release of the substances in the plants. What excretion takes place in the plants? Does plants also excrete or not? What are the substances excrete in the plants? Excretion and release of excretion and release of substances. Substance in the plants. Excretion and release substance in plants. So, like in animals, we can see there are different types of systems is there, like respiratory system, excretion systems, transportation systems. So there is a specific systems we can see in the plants, in the animals. But what about the animal in the plants? Is there any specific parts is there or not? You know that xylem and phloem systems is there. Xylem transport the water and the phloem is responsible for the food material, transportation of food materials in the plants. By the osmosis process and the diffusion process, so there are so many processes will take place in the plants to excrete the waste materials. So the plants also, so when the waste materials released in the plants, so the plants, the waste material stored in their body, like some waste material stored in the stem, some waste material stored in the roots, some waste material stored in the fruits, some waste material stored in the leaves also. For example, if you take annar, so in annar there are so many waste materials stored in the annar fruits. Then which part is useful? The seeds is the only useful for the plants. The energy, the nutrition present in the seeds. So the remaining part is waste. Like the plants, so where the storing the waste material in the plants are called as raphites. So this is only one point is important. The raphite. Storing the waste materials in different parts. Like plants cannot excrete like us. They will store the waste materials in the body. So the biochemical substances produces plants are two types. One is primary metabolites, second one is secondary metabolites. The biochemical produces by plants are two types. So one is primary metabolites, second one is secondary metabolites. What is primary metabolites? They are very useful for the plants, like carbohydrates, proteins, fats. These are very important to the plants. Primary metabolites are very important. Secondary metabolites are not useful for the plants growing. So they are alkaloids, tannins, resins, gums, latex. These are the secondary metabolites. Primary metabolites are carbohydrates, protein, fats. They are very useful for the plants. Secondary metabolites are not useful. So for the plants growth and repair of the body, there are alkaloids, tannins, resins, gums and latex. So the table 5 alkaloids in your textbook is very important for 4 months. Table 4. I am going to draw this table 4. So what is the alkaline names? Plants, parts, which part is useful for the plants? First one is some of the alkalides. Some of the alkalides they have given in a picture like quinine, plant scientific name, quinine, Cinchona officinalis. Cinchona officinalis. So Cinchona, the scientific name of this quinine is plant is Cinchona officinalis. Which part is useful? Bark. Uses anti-malaria drug. Anti-malaria drug. So these are the alkaloids. These are not useful for the plant's growth and the repair of the body, but these are very, very useful for the human beings. To take this not useful for the plant, they will prepare medicines for the human beings. Next one is nicotine. Nicotiana tobacco. Nicotiana tobacco. So leaves. These leaves are used for insecticides. Insecticides they call stimulant. So Nicotiana tobacco. Next one is morphine. Morphine. Papaver somnifera. Papaver somnifera. Fruit. So this is a medicine for snake. Morphine. Medicine for painkiller. Medicine for painkiller. Next one is resurfing. Resurfiana, Raulfia serpentina. Raulfia serpentina. So these are roots. What is roots? It's a medicine for snake bite. Medicine for snake bite. Resurfing. Next one is caffeine. Coffea arabica. Coffee plants. Which one? Seeds. It will give a central nervous system. Central nervous system stimulant. When you drink coffee, so it will give a relief to the brain. Central nervous system stimulant. Central nervous system stimulant. Like nimbin, neem plants. Azadirachta indica. Azadirachta indica. So the all parts are very, very useful. Azadirachta indica, like seeds, leaves, and bark. Every part is very, very important. They can prepare antiseptic. Paper chet, Azadirachta indica, neem plants. Paper chet. Next one is scopolamine. Datura stramonium. Fruits and flower. Sedative. Sedative is nothing but it's mattu mandu. Mattu. When they are doing cesareans operation, they will sedative. They will insert the sedative. The last one is pyrethroids. Pyrethroids. Chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum flowers. Insecticide. So these are the alkalides. Actually, so the biochemical substances of produced in plants are two types. One is primary metabolites and one is secondary metabolites. Primary metabolites are carbohydrates, proteins, fats. They are very, very useful for the plant's growth and the repair of the body. The secondary metabolites are not useful for the plant's growth. They are alkalides, tannins, resins, lipids and gums. Alkalides. So quinine, Cinchona officinalis, bark uses anti-malaria drug. So nicotine, tobacco, nicotine and tobacco leaves. They also use insecticides to destroy the pests present on the crops. Morphine, Papaver somniferarum, they use it for the painkiller. So reserpines, Rauwolfia serpentiana roots, they prepare medicine for a snake bite. Caffeine or coffee arabica seeds, they will give relief to the central nervous system stimulants. Neem, Azadirachta indica, all parts are important. Seeds, leaves, bark, they will prepare antiseptic. Scopolamine, Datura stramonium, fruits and flowers, they prepare sedative. While they are doing cesareans operations, they will insert the sedatives. Pyrethroids, chrysanthemums, flowers or parts is flowers, use is insecticides. This is very, very important for 4 marks and 2 marks questions also. We can expect from this table 5 from the textbook. The last part, few more secondary metabolites. What are the few more secondary metabolites present in your textbook? They are like tannins. Tannins are carbon compounds. Tannins are carbon compounds. So, these tannins are present in deep brown in colors. Tannins are carbon compounds. They are in deep brown in colors. So, they will use these tannins in the leather factories. The example is cassia and acacia. Cassia and acacia. Tumma chettu, inko sarkar tumma chettu. One more is there. So these are tannins. The wood also very, very important for the preparation of furnitures. Tannins are carbon compounds. They are deep in brown. They will use in the leathers companies. Next one is resins. These resins are belong to the gymnosperms families. Gymnosperm species. They belong to the gymnosperms. These resins are used in the preparation of varnishes. Varnishes, I think you know about varnish. So, preparation of varnishes. The example is pinus. finest plants is there. No text, just only once you see the diagram, a picture of the plant. Next one is gums. Plants like neem and acacia. Neem, acacia. The plants like neem and acacia, from their body, when the injuries takes place, they will use some white and sticky substances from outside of the plant body. This sticky substances is nothing but is called as a gum. So when injuries takes place in the plants, somebody will cut it or destroy some parts. What happens? These plants will release a sticky substances, a sticky sugary substances. In villages, people will eat that gum also, releases by the plants. So these are nothing but gums. Why they will release? To recover the damage of the plant body. To recover of the plant body, damaged plant body. These gums are very, very useful for the economical also. So they will use in binding the papers and in the preparation of the bindings in all schools and everywhere we are using for the gums. So these are very, very useful for the economicals. Adhesives and gums. Next one is latex. Latex releases from it's a rubber plants. Latex is a rubber plants. When you cut it, we can see a white color substances coming out from this latex plants. So this latex released from the Hevia brasiliensis. Hevia brasiliensis. Hevia brasiliensis is rubber plants. The rubber plant scientific name is Hevia brasiliensis. So we can see in Kerala, there are so many other countries, we can see rubber growings. It is also, latex also released from the Jatropha, biodiesel plants. Biodiesel plant. Jatropha is a biodiesel plant. Latex, Hevia brasiliensis. It's a rubber plant. This is about another secondary metabolites, that is tannins, resins, gums, and latex. The last one is excretion versus secretion. Excretion versus secretion. What is the difference between excretion and secretions? So excretion is nothing but sending the waste materials from body to the outside of the body. Secretion is nothing but releasing inside the body. Releasing inside the body. Waste materials excrete. Tears excretion. Urines excrete. Gums excrete. Then what is the secretion? Saliva is excretion or secretion? Saliva is secretion. Enzymes is secretion. Hormones is secretions. Hydrochloric acid is secretion. These are the difference between the excretion and secretion. Excretion is nothing but sending the waste material from body to the outside body. Transpiration. Transpiration is a excretion. Transportation, secretion. Sending the materials from one part to the other parts is. So that comes under the secretion. This is the difference between the excretion and secretion. One more scientist is that is Brugman. So this is a botanist. He did experiment on the apple plants. So plants while you are continuing cultivating a one plants or one crop in the fields, after 1 year or 3 years, after 5 years, what happens? Instead of these plants giving fruits, they started secretions of substance into the soil. When they started secretion, they are not going to bear the fruit. They are not going to bear the fruits. The Brookman scientist is the one who said this statement. If the only continuous crops is growing in one field, what happens? The NPK present in the soil will be decreased. If once the NPK is decreased, even though you are using artificial chemicals also, it will not be useful for the plants. It will not grow properly. So this is about the last excretion and releasing of substances in the plants. Okay. Today homework. The very important table 5. Primary metabolites. What is primary metabolites? Carbohydrates, proteins and fat. These are very useful for the plant's growth and repair of the plant body. Secondary metabolites, alkaloids, tables, very important for 4 marks. And some more alkaloids, some more secondary metabolites, those are tannins, resins, gums, and latex. Write 1 or 2 points and give the example. Okay. So up to here the 4th lesson is completed. Nutrition, respiration, transportation, excretion is completed. And the 5th lesson talks about coordination. What is the coordination between the one organisms to the another organism? We will discuss in next class. Okay. Today homework, write table 5 and write all this secondary metabolites, name, side heading and example. No need to draw diagrams. Thank you, students.